another Discussions with Delinah. So this one is going to be a little bit shorter this week, but let's just jump on into it because I think that it is just as impactful as any other Discussions with Delinah, no matter how long or short. So I kind of want to just start off by saying the title is going to be God is the Only Lasting Source. Sorry, weird noise. I guess the house was settling. Now, I start off with saying that is something I have always known, but I'm definitely feeling and learning a lot more in this season of my life. And I say that to say there are so many things in this world. There are so many vices, so many outlets, so many ways that people try to seek peace, try to find joy, try to find happiness. And in looking for joy, happiness, and fulfillment and all of those things of the world, none of us can ever truly be happy because the only joy, the true joy, comes from the Lord. Now, I say that just to get it off the bat, but also I don't want it to be confused where you can't find happiness in anything else. For example, I like going to Disney. That is something that it makes me happy. Every time I go to Disney, I go to the parks, I see the characters, I watch the shows, I eat a Dole Whip or a spring roll. Like, it makes me happy, okay? But I know that going to Disney every day or like being at Disney can't substitute the joy that God provides. Going to Disney is not going to fix everything in my life. Going to Disney is not going to take away any sadness that I feel on a day-to-day basis. Now, it may be temporary happiness, and when I'm at the parks, I may feel amazing, and then, I leave the park and I may feel really sad. But emotions are so fluctuating and so temporary, whereas contentment and joy through the Lord are everlasting. And now the joy doesn't mean that you're happy every second of every day. But God's joy and peace means that regardless of the circumstance, regardless of anything that's happening in your life, regardless of the small things, you feel okay because you know that God has your back. You know that God has already taken care of you. You know that God is already planning your life for you and has already planned out your life for you. And that's the difference. And as human beings, we are created by God to be happy and to feel good about ourselves. And as a matter of fact, we have to feel good about ourselves. We must feel good about ourselves. Or eventually we will develop some sort of unhealthy, uncontrolled behavior to get those good feelings that we crave. And now again, if you really, really think about it, right? A person who is addicted to drugs, right? A person who does coke and meth, and I don't even know if I'm able to say either of those, so I really hope this does not get banned because I'm naming drugs, so I'm going to just say drugs. Didn't think about it. But a person who is addicted to that probably began using in the first place because their pain was so intense, and they felt compelled to get rid of it, even if it was only temporarily. And the same thing is true for drinking or food. I definitely will say I've suffered with binge eating in the past for sure. And it's something that resurfaces every once in a blue moon, like very, very rarely, where I will get so stressed or so overwhelmed by either a specific situation or just by life, and I'll just be hungry and I'll eat and I'll eat and I'll eat. And that's not good for you. It's not. And neither is drinking and doing drugs and all of these things that, again, only satisfy us temporarily, but it's not going to fix that hole in our heart. And if we don't get those good feelings from inside and we attempt to create them through outside means, we're not fixing anything. It's literally like taking a Band-Aid and putting it over a scar. The only thing that heals the cut is time, and you put the right things on it, like hydrogen peroxide or whatever. I'm going to switch that, not a Band-Aid. Let's say you put a piece of tape over a cut. I don't think it's going to do much, personally. Because I feel like you would need a Band-Aid. But again, you have to clean it with alcohol and hydrogen peroxide and this and that. And if we're just temporarily covering up our emotions and our fears and our doubts and our anxieties, we are going to be misled. And not only is that not going to help our current problems, it's going to create more problems in a snowball effect. Now, you become addicted. Now you have to go on for a smoke break every 5 minutes. Now you can't live without drinking alcohol at every meal. And yes, those vices are not good in itself. Like, you shouldn't be doing those things to numb yourself. But now you're messing with your physical health. Because if you're drinking, 7, 8, 10 glasses a day, you're affecting your liver. If you're smoking a pack, every 2 hours, you're affecting your lungs. So now you're shortening your lifespan because you're doing these things that are supposedly helping you not feel or be distracted by what you're going through, but ultimately it's only harming you. Whereas I ask you, if you were to give everything to God and you were to let God be that joy, there's no negative there. There's not. There is no negative in the fact that, I read my Bible 12 times a day because I feel really sad. What's the negative? You're getting closer to God. You're understanding His Word. You may be able to teach other people because of what you're learning. There's no negative. The negative might be, I don't have enough time to watch TV. Is that really a negative? I don't know. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm perfect in this by any means. Again, I've had the issue with binge eating. Sometimes I have the issue of binge watching TV. And again, that kind of goes into next week's discussions with Delinah, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. But again, when we don't get those feelings, those good feelings from inside, we attempt to create them through those outside means. And God created us that way, and He's the only one that can satisfy us. Psalms 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." So when we go to something other than God to make us feel good about ourselves, we're really just replacing something real with a cheap substitute. Whatever your emotional needs are today, know that God can only meet them. He's the only one. You can talk to a therapist, you can talk to your friends, you can talk to yourself. I do it too. But at the end of the day, God is going to be the only one that can meet you where you're at and lift you. He's the only lasting source of life. And things come and go, but God truly is forever. God is everlasting. So go to Him today, and He's the only one that can satisfy. We should seek Him daily to find true delight and satisfaction in Him and only Him. I'm going to leave off on a verse. Psalms 37:5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord. Trust Him, and He will act." I hope you all have a blessed Sunday, and I hope you have a blessed week.